Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The wine glasses clinked gently as the sommelier poured a fragrant Cabernet Sauvignon. The tasting room buzzed with quiet conversation and the rustle of fabric as attendees swirled their glasses, her emerald green skirt swaying as she shifted her weight. Her cream blouse complemented her olive skin tone, and delicate gold sandals peeked out from beneath the hem of her skirt. Athena took a small sip of the wine, savoring the rich flavors on her tongue. She had been looking forward to this event for weeks, eager to expand her palate and perhaps make some new connections in the city. As she set her glass down on the high table in front of her, a familiar laugh caught her attention. Her heart skipped a beat as her eyes scanned the room, finally landing on a face she hadn't seen in years. Jessica. Her ex-girlfriend. Athena's fingers tightened around the stem of her wine glass, a wave of anxiety washing over her. She hadn't expected to run into anyone from her past life here, least of all Jessica. For a moment, Athena considered slipping out of the room unnoticed, but as she took a step towards the exit, Jessica's gaze met hers. There was a flicker of recognition, followed by confusion. Athena watched as Jessica excused herself from her group and made her way across the room. Eugene? Jessica's voice was hesitant, her brow furrowed as she approached. Athena took a deep breath, steadying herself. Hello, Jessica. It's Athena now, actually. Oh, Jessica's eyes widened, taking in Athena's appearance. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. It's okay, Athena said, forcing a smile. It's been a while. An awkward silence fell between them, filled only by the background chatter of the other attendees. Jessica fidgeted with her purse strap, her gaze darting between Athena's face and her outfit. You look different, Jessica finally said, wincing at her own words. I mean, you look good, happy. Athena nodded, relaxing slightly. Thank you. I am happy. It's been a long journey, but I finally feel like myself. Jessica tilted her head, curiosity replacing her initial shock. How long? When did you... I started transitioning about 3 years ago, Athena explained, her voice soft. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one for me. Jessica nodded slowly, processing the information. I had no idea you were struggling with this when we were together. Athena's smile turned wistful. I didn't fully understand it myself back then. It took a lot of soul-searching and therapy to come to terms with who I really am. Another pause stretched between them, less tense than before, but still charged with unspoken questions and emotions. Are you still in marketing? Jessica asked, clearly grasping for neutral ground. Athena shook her head. No, I made a career change along with everything else. I'm working as a graphic designer now. It's been challenging, but I love the creative freedom. That's great, Jessica said, her smile more genuine now. You always had an eye for design. I remember how you used to rearrange our apartment every other month. They both chuckled at the memory, some of the awkwardness dissipating. What about you? Athena asked. Are you still with the law firm? Jessica nodded. Made partner last year, actually. It's been keeping me busy, that's for sure. Congratulations, Athena said warmly. You always were destined for big things. A comfortable silence fell between them, both sipping their wine and lost in their own thoughts. Athena felt a mix of relief and melancholy wash over her. Seeing Jessica again brought back memories of a different life, but it also reinforced how far she'd come. Listen, Jessica said, breaking the silence. I know this is probably weird for both of us, but would you like to grab coffee sometime, catch up properly? Athena hesitated for a moment, weighing the potential complications against her curiosity. Finally, she nodded. I'd like that. It would be nice to talk without the background noise of wine enthusiasts. Jessica laughed, the tension in her shoulders visibly easing. Great, I'll give you my new number and we can set something up. As they exchanged contact information, Athena felt a sense of closure she hadn't realized she needed. This unexpected encounter had opened a door to her past, allowing her to bridge the gap between who she was and who she had become. The sommelier announced the next wine, drawing their attention back to the event. "I should get back to my group," Jessica said, gesturing towards her waiting friends. "But I'm glad we ran into each other, Athena." "Really?" Athena smiled, genuinely this time. "Me too, Jessica. I'll be in touch about that coffee." As Jessica walked away, Athena took a deep breath, feeling lighter than she had in years. She turned her attention back to the wine tasting, ready to embrace the rest of the evening and whatever the future might hold. The days following the wine tasting event passed in a blur for Athena. She found herself replaying the encounter with Jessica in her mind, analyzing every word and gesture. Part of her was excited about the prospect of reconnecting with someone from her past, while another part was apprehensive about the potential complications. A week after the event, Athena finally gathered the courage to send Jessica a text, suggesting a coffee shop downtown for their meetup. The response came quickly, and they set a date for the following Saturday afternoon. As the day approached, Athena spent more time than usual considering her outfit. She wanted to feel confident and comfortable, but also to present an authentic version of herself. In the end, she settled on a pair of high-waisted jeans, a flowy floral blouse, and ankle boots. She applied her makeup with care, opting for a natural look that enhanced her features without being overstated. The coffee shop was bustling when Athena arrived. The aroma of freshly ground beans filled the air, mingling with the sweet scent of pastries. She scanned the room, spotting Jessica at a small table near the window. Taking a deep breath, Athena made her way over. "Hi," she said, her voice coming out slightly higher than intended. Jessica looked up, a warm smile spreading across her face. "Athena, hi. I'm glad you made it." As Athena sat down, she noticed Jessica had already ordered 2 cups of coffee. "I hope you still take it with just a splash of milk," Jessica said, sliding one of the mugs towards her. Athena's eyebrows rose in surprise. "I do, actually. Thank you for remembering." "Some things stick with you, I guess," Jessica replied with a shrug. They fell into an awkward silence, both sipping their coffee and avoiding direct eye contact. Athena's fingers traced the rim of her mug, searching for the right words to break the tension. "So," Jessica finally said, setting her cup down, "how have you been, really? I mean, beyond the career change and everything else?" Athena took a deep breath, considering her response. "It's been a journey, to say the least. There have been some incredibly difficult moments, but also some of the most fulfilling experiences of my life." Jessica nodded encouragingly, her expression open and attentive. "Coming out to my family was probably the hardest part," Athena continued. "My parents, they didn't take it well at first. We're in a better place now, but it took a lot of time and many painful conversations to get there." "I'm sorry you had to go through that," Jessica said softly. "I remember how close you were with your parents." Athena gave a sad smile. "It was tough, but ultimately it forced us all to be more honest with each other. Our relationship is different now, but in some ways, it's stronger." Jessica reached out, briefly touching Athena's hand before pulling back. "And what about, are you seeing anyone?" Athena shook her head. "Not at the moment. Dating as a trans woman comes with its own set of challenges. I've had a few short-term relationships, but nothing serious yet." "I can imagine it's complicated," Jessica said, her brow furrowing slightly. Have you had any issues with people not accepting you?" Athena sighed, her fingers tightening around her mug. "There have been some difficult encounters, yes, but I've also met some incredibly supportive and accepting people. It's a mixed bag, really." Jessica nodded, her expression thoughtful. "I'm glad you found some good people. You deserve that." A warmth spread through Athena's chest at Jessica's words. "Thank you. That means a lot, especially coming from you." They shared a smile, some of the tension from earlier dissipating. "What about you?" Athena asked, eager to shift the focus. "Are you seeing anyone?" Jessica shook her head. "Not at the moment. Work keeps me pretty busy. And after my last relationship ended, well, I've been taking some time for myself." "I'm sorry to hear that," Athena said genuinely. "Breakups are never easy." Jessica shrugged, a rueful smile on her face. "It is what it is." We wanted different things in life. It happens. They fell into a more comfortable silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Athena found herself studying Jessica's face, noting the small changes time had brought. There were faint lines around her eyes now, and a certain maturity in her expression that hadn't been there years ago. "Can I ask you something?" Jessica said suddenly, her voice hesitant. Athena nodded, bracing herself. "Of course. When we were together, did you know about being transgender, I mean? Or was it something you realized later?" Athena took a deep breath, considering her words carefully. "I think, on some level, I always knew something wasn't quite right. But I didn't have the words for it then, or the courage to really examine those feelings. It wasn't until after we broke up that I started to seriously question my gender identity." Jessica nodded slowly, processing the information. "I see. I guess I've been wondering if there were signs I missed, if I should have seen it somehow." Athena reached out, gently touching Jessica's arm. "Hey, no, this wasn't something you could have known or should have seen. I was still figuring it out myself. You have nothing to feel guilty about." Relief washed over Jessica's face. "Thank you for saying that. I've been carrying that around for a while now." They shared a look of understanding, years of unspoken feelings passing between them. "I'm really glad we did this," Athena said softly. "I wasn't sure how it would go, but it's nice to talk to someone who knew me before, someone who can see how far I've come." Jessica smiled warmly. "I'm glad too. And for what it's worth, Athena, you seem so much more at peace now. It's beautiful to see." Athena felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, overwhelmed by the acceptance in Jessica's words. "Thank you. That means more than you know." As they finished their coffee, the conversation flowed more easily. They shared stories about their lives, caught up on mutual friends, and even laughed about some of their shared memories. By the time they stood to leave, nearly 2 hours had passed. Outside the coffee shop, they faced each other, both reluctant to end the meeting. "We should do this again sometime," Jessica said, adjusting her purse strap. Athena nodded, a genuine smile on her face. "I'd like that. Maybe we could check out that new art exhibit at the museum next month." "That sounds perfect," Jessica replied. "I'll text you about it." They hugged briefly, a gesture that felt both familiar and entirely new. As they parted ways, Athena felt a sense of peace settle over her. This reconnection with Jessica had helped to heal a part of her past she hadn't realized was still raw. Walking home, Athena reflected on how far she'd come. The journey hadn't been easy, but moments like this, moments of acceptance and understanding, made it all worthwhile. She was Athena now, truly and completely herself, and she was ready to embrace whatever the future might hold. The following weeks brought a renewed sense of energy to Athena's life. Her conversation with Jessica had stirred up memories and emotions she'd long buried, but instead of feeling overwhelmed, she felt invigorated. It was as if reconnecting with her past had somehow made her more secure in her present. At work, Athena threw herself into a new project with enthusiasm. Her design firm had taken on a rebranding campaign for a local eco-friendly clothing company, and the challenge of creating a fresh, modern look while maintaining the brand's earthy roots excited her. She found herself staying late at the office, experimenting with color palettes and typography, losing track of time as she immersed herself in the creative process. One evening, as she was putting the finishing touches on a logo concept, her phone buzzed with a text from Jessica. "Hey, just checking if we're still on for the art exhibit this weekend. There's a new cafe nearby we could try after if you're up for it." Athena smiled, realizing she'd almost forgotten about their plans. She quickly typed out a response. "Absolutely, looking forward to it. The cafe sounds great too." As she hit send, Athena felt a flutter of nervousness in her stomach. Their coffee meetup had gone well, but there was still a part of her that worried about spending more time with Jessica. What if things became awkward? What if Jessica realized she wasn't comfortable with Athena's transition after all? Shaking her head to clear the doubts, Athena turned back to her work. She'd learned over the years that dwelling on what-ifs rarely led anywhere good. Instead, she focused on the present moment, losing herself once again in the flow of creativity. The day of the art exhibit arrived, bringing with it a crisp autumn breeze. Athena stood in front of her closet, deliberating over her outfit choice. She finally settled on a rust-colored sweater dress, paired with black tights and ankle boots. As she applied her makeup, she found herself taking extra care, smoothing her foundation and adding a touch more blush than usual. The museum was crowded when Athena arrived, filled with art enthusiasts and curious locals alike. She scanned the entrance hall, finally spotting Jessica near the information desk. Jessica waved, a warm smile spreading across her face as Athena approached. "You look great," Jessica said, her eyes taking in Athena's outfit. "That color really suits you." Athena felt a blush creep up her cheeks. "Thank you. You look lovely too." Jessica was wearing a tailored blazer over a simple white t-shirt paired with dark jeans and loafers. The outfit was casual yet polished, perfectly balancing professionalism and artistic appreciation. As they made their way into the first gallery, Athena felt some of her earlier nervousness begin to fade. The art provided a natural focal point for their conversation, allowing them to ease into each other's company without the pressure of constant personal chat. They moved from piece to piece, sometimes in comfortable silence, other times engaged in animated discussion about the artist's technique or the emotions evoked by a particular work. Athena found herself thoroughly enjoying Jessica's company, appreciating her insightful comments and genuine enthusiasm for the art. In front of a large abstract painting dominated by swirls of blue and green, Jessica turned to Athena with a thoughtful expression. "You know, I've been thinking about our last conversation, about your transition and everything you've been through." Athena tensed slightly, unsure where this was going. "Oh?" Jessica nodded, her eyes still on the painting. "I just wanted to say, I'm really proud of you, Athena. It must have taken incredible courage to be true to yourself, especially knowing the challenges you'd face." Athena felt a lump form in her throat, touched by Jessica's words. "Thank you," she managed to say, her voice slightly husky with emotion. "That means a lot to me." Jessica turned to face her fully, a soft smile on her face. "I mean it, and I'm grateful that you're willing to let me be a part of your life again, even in this small way." They shared a moment of understanding, years of history and new beginnings contained in a single look. Athena felt a weight lift from her shoulders, a fear she hadn't fully acknowledged melting away. As they continued through the exhibit, their conversation flowed more freely. They shared stories about their lives, laughed over remembered inside jokes, and even tentatively broached the subject of their past relationship. "Do you ever wonder," Jessica asked as they examined a sculpture made of twisted metal, "what might have happened if we'd stayed together? If you'd realized your truth while we were still a couple?" Athena considered the question carefully. "I've thought about it," she admitted, "but I think I needed to be on my own to figure things out, to become Athena without worrying about how it would affect someone else." Jessica nodded, her expression thoughtful. "That makes sense. I'm glad you had that space to discover yourself." As they exited the museum, the late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the street. They made their way to the cafe Jessica had mentioned, a cozy spot with mismatched furniture and the rich aroma of freshly baked pastries. Over steaming mugs of tea and shared slices of lemon tart, they continued their conversation. Athena found herself opening up about the challenges of her transition, the painful electrolysis sessions, the voice training, the constant vigilance required in public spaces. Jessica listened attentively, asking thoughtful questions and offering words of support. "I can't imagine how difficult that must have been," Jessica said, her hand resting close to Athena's on the table. "But look at you now. You're thriving." Athena smiled, a mixture of pride and gratitude washing over her. "It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. I finally feel like I'm living authentically." As the evening wore on, Athena realized she was genuinely enjoying herself. The initial awkwardness had completely dissipated, replaced by a comfortable familiarity tinged with the excitement of rediscovery. When they finally left the cafe, the street lamps had flickered to life, casting a warm glow over the sidewalk. They lingered outside, neither quite ready to end the evening. "This was really nice," Jessica said, her hands tucked into her pockets against the evening chill. "I'm glad we did this." Athena nodded in agreement. "Me too. It's been surprisingly easy being around you again." Jessica's smile widened. "I was just thinking the same thing. Listen, I know we're still figuring out what this friendship looks like, but I'd love to do this again sometime. Maybe make it a regular thing." Athena felt a warmth spread through her chest. "I'd like that," she said softly. "Very much." The days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, as Athena and Jessica found themselves falling into a comfortable rhythm. They met regularly, sometimes for coffee, sometimes for dinner or an afternoon at a museum. Each time they picked up where they'd left off, the conversation flowing more easily as they rediscovered their shared history and explored the changes that time had brought. One evening, they found themselves at a small Italian restaurant, tucked away in a quiet corner. The lighting was soft, the murmur of surrounding conversations a gentle hum. Athena twirled pasta around her fork, a warm smile on her face, as she listened to Jessica recount a story from her recent work trip. "And then," Jessica said, her eyes sparkling with amusement, "the client insisted that the entire campaign be reworked to include his dog. A bulldog, of all things." Athena laughed, a sound that came freely these days. "I hope you charged extra for that." Jessica grinned. "Of course, the things we do for our clients." As the conversation lulled, Jessica reached for her wine glass, her fingers brushing against Athena's on the table. The touch lingered, a soft caress that sent a jolt of warmth up Athena's arm. She looked up, met Jessica's gaze, and found something unspoken there. Jessica leaned in, her voice low. "Athena, I've been thinking a lot about us, about how good it is to be around you again." Athena felt her heartbeat quicken. "I've been thinking about that too," she admitted. Thanks for watching. The rest won't be viewable on YouTube, so check out Patreon if you want more. I hope you have a wonderful day, my cutie.